about how to settle down in America from an academic perspective. In our last episode, we covered from a social perspective how to acclimatize to the culture, and now we're going to be talking about how to prepare for your career and settle down into the educational system and prepare for your long-term career, especially after school. So yeah, let's get started.
Alright, first things first, career-wise, I think it's helpful to have a plan in mind of what you hope to achieve at the end of your program, so at the end of your bachelor's, at the end of your master's. And we covered some similar information in our videos on preparing for school, like general and master's. So you should have a plan. So if your goal is, if you're going to be in your bachelor's program for 4 years, if you're going to do a master's for 2 years, 2.5 years, you should have a plan in mind, which is a plan being, I'm studying business or I'm studying finance. So I know that at the end of my program, I might want to work in this field, or I might want to do something along these lines. If you're getting the master's in, let's say, information systems, you probably know the career options that are available to you. So when you know what you could potentially be doing, then you can work backwards and say, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to work as, then work backwards and say, how do I get to this point? What do I need to do while I'm in school to be able to get to this point and be able to do work in this job? What do I need to build? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? Just to be able, so that when I get to the point of graduation, it's easy for me to achieve my goal. Yeah. So having a plan is helpful. And then we're going to talk about like your resume. So essentially your resume is
this sheet of paper.
Your resume is
going to represent
that determines
4 years or 2 years of your life, and this is what somebody will look at and determine if you're getting a job or if you're getting a master's program or whatever you want to do after school. One piece of paper, not the front and the back.
Not just 2 pages.
Just one.
Unless you have like 10 years of experience, then you can have 2 pages.
You don't even need 2 pages. Nobody's trying to read your 2-page paper.
Well, 10 years of experience can be expressed. Well,
no, I'm telling you the truth. Most people don't take the time to like.
Recruiters count your resume like 2 minutes. 5 seconds. What is 2 minutes?
5 seconds, and they're like, yeah, do you have what we need? And just marking the areas just like that.
The relevant areas.
So 1 page will determine
this is a summary
your entire education.
That's how you summarize
entire career plan in 1 page.
So, and this episode is actually assuming that you want to have a career. It's not when we say have a career, that means you want to get a job. So you might have different goals, like maybe you want to set up your own business, or you want to you want to do a PhD, you want to do research or something.
To be honest, I feel like either ways you still need a resume. Why? Because you want to set up a company. Don't you need capital? How are people going to?
What if I want to do, what do they call it? What if I want to enter fashion?
Fashion, I feel like
you need your fashion resume.
You need your,
what if I'm studying finance and I want to enter fashion? Then you need to go and do something else in between to bridge that gap. Do you understand?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something in between to bridge, I feel like everybody still wants to have a 1 page of what are you and what do you represent. At the end of the day, you need to be able to write. If they ask me what have I done, you need to be able to put it down on paper. That's just
that's your resume.
Even if you don't use it helps you to see where am I going. Like you said, have a plan, right? Where am I going? And if I were to write 1 page of everything I've been doing, am I really on track to get to where I want to be? That's actually one of the benefits of having a resume. As a freshman student in like bachelor's or something, write your resume, because you realize that
I don't think it's too early for
it's never too early to write a resume. If anything, to show you that okay, I'm not where I need to be, and what are the things that I need to do to get to where I want to be.
And you also need to think about the fact that when you are graduating, you are competing with many other people as well. So if you are an undergrad and you've been working like every summer, you have different internships on your resume. So your resume is not empty. Yeah. So it gives you an edge over other people who may not have done anything for like their senior year of college. Then you're somebody, a potential recruiter looks at your resume and says, I'd rather pick this person because this person looks like they're more willing to learn, or they have more experience to show me that they are capable of doing the job. Yeah. So all of these things, you need to be very deliberate in your planning. So don't think about, I have time, Time, time goes by fast.
There's nothing like time. Okay, so the first portion of your resume is usually your objective and summary. And it's just like a 1 sentence of this is who I am and this is what I want.
Yeah, and I personally think that an objective or a summary on your resume, I think it's subjective. So some people think it's necessary to have, some people think it's not necessary to have. I think it's a nice to have to be able to tell or guide the recruiter or guide whoever is looking at your resume as to who you are and what your goals are. And then that way, when they're looking at the rest of your resume, they already have that in mind. But I also think it's subjective too. So if you're fresh out of college, I don't really think it's that necessary, especially if you don't have any defined work experience. The more as you build your work experience and as you grow, then you can now have an objective to say where you've worked, what you've done, and what you plan to do. So yeah. So what else should be on your resume?
I mean, second part is your education. So usually like what you studied, and we've covered picking a major in another video. We'll probably link it somewhere here, somewhere in this box. But having your major on there, your GPA. I know some people that will tell you if your GPA is low, don't put it on your resume. That's a good advice, but you probably still have to produce your transcript, and your transcript is to say your GPA. So
I think you should always put your GPA on your resume because I've had personal experiences where I took it out because I'm thinking, oh, I'm a master. Somebody told me once. People tell you all sorts of things about resume and stuff. Somebody like, oh, don't need to put your resume. Don't need to put your GPA on your resume. And then I was talking to
what was the person's reasoning?
That as a master's student, it's not important. They don't really look at your GPA. And then I'm like, okay, fine, let me take it off. And then the recruiter asks me, like, I see everything, what's your GPA? And then you not putting your GPA gives them an impression like you're hiding something or that it's low. And I told him, like, so why is your GPA not on your resume? It should be on your resume. I'm like, oh, I kind of thought it didn't need to be on my resume, but so if your GPA is low, then you need to be able to you need to have other things on your resume to make up for the deficiency. But I think absolutely your GPA should be on your resume. It tells the main reason you're in school is to study, right? So if your GPA is high, then it tells me that you're a high performer.
And it shows that you are committed to what you're working on. Because you're paying money for your education. Yep. And if you cannot keep your GPA to a reasonable level, it's like, what am I employing you for, type of thing. So
this kind of ties back to our first video in the series when we talked about like the academic perspective. So when you have your plan in mind of what you want to achieve, a high GPA or your GPA should also help you be on track to having that goal.
Just to guide, what's a good GPA?
A good GPA, in my opinion, is like 3.5 and above.
Amen. That's a first class.
Well,
make your African parents proud.
So I don't think it's impossible to get. I think it's achievable to have.
It's very, very achievable.
And by the time you start looking for jobs, you see a lot of people who ask for like a minimum 3.5, or even if you have less than 3.5, like we talked about in our video, when there are a large pool of people, they might use that as a deciding factor. So I think a good GPA should be at least 3.5 and above.
Yeah.
So that's
even if anything happens, for God's sake, don't go below a 3.0.
Oh yeah. Even
3.0 is like you're pushing the limits. But
3.0 is considered average, so 3.5 is considered above average. So as you're planning and working through school, obviously school is the main reason why you are here. So you should be working to ensure that you have an above average GPA or an excellent performance. So what else do we need to show?
Some people also have like skills and certification somewhere.
You should have skills and certification.
So even if your skill is like I can use Microsoft Excel,
Microsoft Office,
just put Microsoft Office.
Because not everybody is good at this.
But at the same time, it's like I've heard some people say that why you put Microsoft Office there, it's expected. See, don't say anything is expected.
Just put it. I think it's better to
put everything there. Yeah. So, and I mean, don't also do only Microsoft Office. If there's a particular skill that is in your field, or like a certification that is in your field and all of that, put it in there. Try to get the certificates. Because it also shows that you're in tune with what's going on in your industry, and you are someone that is interested in growing your career. You're a self-motivated person. That type of thing. So like, try as much as possible to get or to be aware of the certifications that are in your field and prepare to get one or two of them so you can put it on your resume as well. Yeah,
I think as a master's student, this is like expected. It goes without saying you should have a skills and certifications section in your resume. That's because being a master's student, you are building on knowledge from undergrad, so it's expected that you know at least more than somebody who is coming out of undergrad. So in your field, it's even if you have like if you did the same major for undergrad and masters, then I would expect to see some growth. I expect to see some skills that I keep using information systems, but it's like a very easy example. But if I'm in information systems field and my my core is like programming, then if I'm looking at your resume, I would expect to see like programming languages, coding languages, and all that. Those should come in your skills section. And then depending on your field again, if there's certifications like she said that help you, you don't need to wait till you get into the workplace to get the certifications. It helps to get them while you're in school. Yeah. To beef up your resume or to stand out, to improve your profile. So it goes back to, again, when you have a plan and you know that you can walk back and say, these are the things I need to do, and then you can put all this on your resume and say, this is what I am capable of doing, this is what I know. Yeah. So
yeah, and then another field in your resume, or another section in your resume, is your leadership experience. So most companies are looking for people that can potentially become managers and take up leadership.
Or have leadership
skills in there. So you might be applying for entry level, but entry level, even within entry level, you need to have leadership skills. You need to be able to like manage your own self, manage your own team if you get to that point where you're managing teams. So little things like that. Join organizations. This we talked about that last video actually.
Getting involved.
So when you get involved in your organizations, don't just be going for meeting and be looking like this. No. Join the exec board. Like, you know, what's okay, they're running election for secretary. Okay, what do I need to be a secretary? Run for the position, okay? And try to get something. I'm not saying just be like, there's some people that they do it so much, they'll be taking position here, there, and there, and they're not even doing the job well. But like, just try to get some experience. If you can, if you join your ASA, start from, okay, I'll organize the events for you guys, I'll be your event organizer.
Or it could also be something that along the lines of what you are studying.
Yeah, or like your professional organization.
You can handle the communication
of your,
it's also a way of building experience actually.
Exactly, so like if you're studying marketing, I don't know, take up public relations in your organization so you can get some experience. If you're studying finance,
take over the budgeting parts
or the treasury and helping to get budget from your school.
And then you can put all that on your resume. But I also say a lot of people do find out by the time they realize that, oh, I need to get involved. Maybe they realize it's a little too late. Now start joining organization. And then you just, maybe an organization you're not really a part of. Maybe you just went for a meeting once or twice a semester, you put it on your resume. It would actually surprise you that sometimes you might think people ignore that part, but I've actually had people ask me, say, oh, you did this on campus, so tell me more about that. And then it's an opportunity to share an experience, another experience besides your work experience. It's an opportunity to share another experience besides your work experience. Or like some of the people that you're actually interviewing with, they were also part of the organization in school. So they're like, oh wow, you're a member of this fraternity, or like you're a member of this. And you don't know anything because you only went for one meeting. You not start looking. So you also need to check your intentions too. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get involved, but also don't just get involved for the sake of, oh, let me put on my resume. No. So they will see I was involved. No, it helps to have a passion or a desire to want to do that thing. So if you get asked, you can honestly talk about it and say, this is what I do, this is what it's about, and this is what I contributed to it. Yeah. And this is how it ties back to my goal, ties back to what I'm applying for, what I can add to your company. So, free advice. So what is free advice?
Another section is your professional experience. So like if you're in bachelor's,
that's the cocoa. That's the main point.
Well, I mean, it's one of the main things that you should be looking at. So if you're in bachelor's, you might not have a lot of professional experience. One way to get that is through internships. But in order to have an internship, you first need to have a resume. So, like, if you don't have anything, you don't have leadership experience to put on there, it's like, how will you get an internship to get professional experience? It's like a never-ending cycle. So, how to get an internship, do all the things that we just said before. Keep your GPA up, get involved, take up leadership positions. And when it's time for internship fair, don't sit down in your house, in your apartment, or in your dorm. Don't say, oh, wow, I have our lab today, I can't go. Honey,
go out there.
I don't say skip a class, but like if necessary, tell your professor, I'm sorry, I want to go to the internship fair.
And most professors will understand
this. They understand that you're trying to get environment in the industry. They will allow you to go. I even know some professors that will cancel their class and tell you to go to the internship fair. So go to your internship fair, dress like you are ready for the job. Don't be slobby. If you don't have a suit, borrow from somebody.
Invest in it.
Yeah, invest in it, but if you know like money is really tight right now, just borrow from someone in the time being and go there, look like you're ready to take the job. And also go for mock interviews. I cannot overemphasize this. Go for mock interviews. You never realize how bad you are at selling yourself until you go for a mock interview. And one thing my school used to do is they'll record you, so you can go back and watch it.
Yeah,
And you just be shaking your head like this. So as much as possible, go for mock interviews.
Take advantage of your career center.
Yeah, take advantage of your career center.
Don't know where their career centers are. And you'll be surprised your career center offers all of these. My career center helps us print resumes for free.
Exactly, on nice papers.
Yes, nice paper, not just regular A4. They help us print business cards. You have somebody who reviews your resume, who reviews your cover letter.
Yes.
You can do mock interviews. You have video recordings, video recording platform where you can record yourself responding to an interview, and it helps you replay that. All of these things help you, develop when it's time to, when you're at that point of looking for a job. But then if you don't know where your career center is, or if you don't take advantage of these resources,
you wouldn't know they're there. You wouldn't know.
So, yeah.
Take advantage of your career center. And to be honest, some of these things that I was saying, your career center, you probably offer it for free. You're probably actually paying for it as part of the tuition. Yeah. But you don't know because you
probably have all these sessions. So look out for all of these things, and yeah.
Also, like the last section that usually have in resumes is your honors and activities, and this is just where you put
leadership.
Well, no. So, like for instance, if you get like an award in school, this is where to go. If you get like a scholarship, this is where to go. If you have other organizations that maybe you're not really. So, for instance, I was in honor societies, but I do not have any. I did not take up a leadership position there. So I was just putting the member of Omicron, Epsilon, Delta, that type of thing. Just in your honors and activities, and I wasn't an econ major, so I was just a member.
I just had a leadership and affiliations. Every other thing is there.
Yeah.
Member of this, member of that, member of that. So.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Start preparing. Another way is also look at resumes of people that are in grades ahead above you. So if you have friends that
send your resume to them.
Yeah, send your resume to them. Let them take a look at it, okay? And also take a look at their own resume. See how the things that they've done.
How they structure their resume.
Yeah, and look at the things that they've done and they've been involved in on campus to get to where they are. So if you know somebody that is in a field, they're working in a field that you like to work in, or they've had internships in a field that you like to get internships in, ask them, can I take a look at your resume to see some of the things? Or maybe like just have a conversation if they're not comfortable sharing your resume with you. Have a conversation with them, what organizations can I get involved in? What should I try to do? Which honor society should I be like aiming for? That's little things like that, just to make sure that you're ready to have the internship of your dreams and the job of your dreams. Maybe not the job of your dreams, but like a good job. A good job.
Also, I would also say attend networking events. So your school career center might host networking events, sometimes with alumni of the school to help you understand what it is to meeting with recruiters, or talking to people,
like the old firm handshake thing. Some of y'all shake like this. Y'all be shaking like this. What's this? Like practice your power handshake.
Yeah. So that's the point of the networking events. They help you build your confidence in talking to people.
Yes.
Help you know how to approach conversations, and then practice your handshake. All of these things.
And your elevator speech. Things like that.
Well. So what is an elevator speech?
Your elevator speech. If you don't know what an elevator speech is, you need to go to your career center first of all. But let me just give it to you. Your elevator speech is usually you're not ready.
But they're just settling in the US, so maybe they're not at that point yet. But you should know what an elevator speech is.
Well, even if you're a freshman, still go to your career center. It's never too early. In fact, let them know you. Do you know why? Because employers. So I know some people that like employers, that the people in the career center are the ones that tell employers, oh wow, you really need to talk to this person. They're an amazing student. They're one of our students that we're really, really proud of. Let it be said of you that you're one of those people. Oh, strive and try to get there. Go to your career center. Let them know that you're thinking about these things. You're getting ready for your career. So that way they can even put in a good word for you with employers. Employers talk to people in your career center. They negotiate and they talk about coming to interview, coming to recruit at your school. If they already know that, oh, Mr. Labaja is very, very interested in this field, and they are looking for people, they are trying to recruit from your school in that field, your career center is going to, they'll remember that, oh wow, I know this person, this student that is actually a junior graduating next year, they'll be perfect for this position, blah, blah, blah. That's how you get jobs, that's how you get people to talk, to put in a good word for you. But if you don't go, they don't know you. You're getting straight A's all well and good, but nobody knows you.
It goes back to putting yourself out there.
Put yourself out there, market yourself.
Sell yourself. When it comes to like career, and we've talked about a lot of things actually. But I think the key points that we really wanted to highlight were making sure that you had a plan, and then trying to work, once you have a defined plan of why you're in school and what you hope to achieve once you're done in school, then working backwards, and we use the resume as a reference point of all the things or keeping track of the things you need to do, or the things you need to work on to get to your goal. So we talked about on your resume, like possibly having an objective in your resume, building your skills that you could include in your resume, your professional experiences, your leadership, your affiliations, your societies that you're a part of, and all of that comes from, you know, when you're involved on campus. These are potential things that you could include on your resume as well. And if you have like honor societies, all of those things that go on your resume pretty much. So we reviewed like what a typical resume should look like and the things that you should have on there. So yeah, from a career perspective,
go to your career center.
Yeah.
You'll give you all this advice and you're actually paying for it.
We also talk about going to making sure you take advantage of the resources that's offered through your career center, the opportunities that they have, going to networking events and putting yourself out there. So while if you're watching this and maybe you're just settling in the US and you think this might not really be relevant to you now, it's never too early yet. It's still it's always good to be ahead of the game and give yourself enough time to start planning and to start preparing. There's nothing wrong with, even if you're in your first year, start writing your resume, start sending it out to people to get feedback. So that way, once you're ready to start applying, you are ready. You don't need to start doing last minute preparation. You're already ready to take on the job search.
Searching for a job or an internship is a job within.
So especially as an international student.
Yeah, it's better to start early than to start a little bit later.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like being over prepared. I don't believe it.
So all in all, as long as you want to have a career in the US, then I think these tips we have shared should be very, very helpful for you.
Yeah. And if you have any other, if anybody, you've been through this process before, you have any other tips that we did not cover, leave it in the comment section. Somebody might need it. Somebody is going to be helpful to somebody out there. So.
Yeah. So our series is over. We did it 3 parts.
Hope at the end of this series, now you feel more comfortable about living in America and all of that. And if you don't, and you want us to cover something else, let us know.
Yes. And if you're still in Nigeria, getting ready to come, I hope we have
shared
ahead of the game.
Yes.
I hope we shared information that should pretty much give you an insight of what to look forward to. So welcome. Love to have you here. Welcome to the land of the home of the brave, land of the free, land flowing with milk and honey. Not really.
And home of opportunities.
Yeah, I think I really like this country because there are so many opportunities, and it's really up to you to create.
And it's usually on merit, so it's not. I mean, having a network is important, but even your network cannot force.
It's still up to you.
It's still up to you. You still need to have the merits, and then your network will help you get to where you need to be. But it's not like something like Nigeria. There are even people that don't have merits. They don't know how to do the job. As long as you have network, you're good. It's not like that here.
Here, you can have a network. Somebody can push your resume, but it's still up to you to prepare and do your interview and all that.
If you stink at the interview, even the person that recommended you, they've already spoke their word.
Yeah. So there's only so much people can do for you. It still boils down to you. So. And then what you want out of this journey. So, thank you again for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends and your loved ones. And you know who we are. You one day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, see you on the next